Your beginning does not define your ending. Welcome to Soft Girl Era, the sacred pause Black women have been waiting for. I'm LeAnne Dolce, pronounced Dolce like sweet softness whispered in French, and I'm your guide from burnout to boundaries, from doing to being, from strong to soft, and loving every second of it. I recently had the privilege of sitting down with Deon Jones, a voice of resilience, healing, and transformation. Deon is someone who has turned survival into sacred purpose, who has walked through fire and come out not just standing, but leading, inspiring, and making the world softer, safer, and more honest for those still finding their way. The insights Deon shared with me aren't just powerful, they're life changing. And today I want to share them with you. Here's what I need you to understand right from the start: you can overcome anything, no matter how impossible it looks in the moment. The point is not that the pain was small, it is that survival, healing, and growth are still possible. That's the truth Dayon lives by. That's the truth we're unpacking today. Let me tell you something we don't say enough. Your beginning does not define your ending. What happened to you may shape you, but it does not have to limit you. That's not a motivational poster slogan. That's a lifeline. And if you've been carrying the weight of your past like it's a life sentence, I need you to hear this clearly. You are not stuck there. You never were. Think about Oprah Winfrey for a second. Born into poverty in rural Mississippi, survived abuse, survived instability, survived things that would have broken most people before they even got started. She was shuttled between family members, experienced trauma that most of us can't even begin to imagine, and faced rejection after rejection in an industry that wasn't built for someone who looked like her. But she didn't let that be the end of her story. She pursued education relentlessly. She worked her way into broadcasting when doors were slammed in her face. She used media not just as a career, but as a platform to tell stories, to build community, to create opportunities for people who looked like her and had been through what she'd been through. And now she's one of the most influential voices in the world. Her career is living proof that early trauma does not have to determine your final destiny. But here's the thing: Oprah didn't wake up one day and decide to be healed. She made choices, small ones, hard ones, repeated ones. She chose to keep going. She chose to seek help. She chose to protect her peace. She chose to use her voice even when it trembled. She chose to build a legacy out of the ruins of what could have destroyed her. And that brings me to the second truth Dayon wants you to remember. Resilience is a decision repeated over time. Overcoming is often built through small choices to keep going, to seek help, and to protect your peace. We romanticize resilience sometimes. We act like it's this big dramatic moment where you rise from the ashes in slow motion with a soundtrack playing. But real resilience is waking up on a Tuesday when you don't want to. Real resilience is going to therapy even when it's expensive and exhausting. Real resilience is saying no to people you love because you know yes will cost you your sanity. It's not glamorous, it's gritty, and it's yours. Tarana Burke knows this better than most. She's the founder of the Me Too movement. And if you think that movement started with a hashtag and a celebrity endorsement, you're missing the whole story. Tarana started this work years before the world was paying attention. She was a survivor of sexual violence herself. She saw how many girls and women, especially Black girls, were carrying pain silently, without support, without language, without permission to even name what had happened to them. She didn't wait for a platform. She didn't wait for funding. She didn't wait for the perfect moment. She started in her community with the girls who needed her most. She created a framework centered on empathy, on healing, on giving people the words to say, "Me too, I survived this, and I'm still here." She sat with young women who had been dismissed, ignored, and told to be quiet. She held space for their stories when no one else would. She built trust in rooms where trust had been shattered. That movement became a worldwide force. Millions of survivors felt seen. Institutions were pushed to confront abuse. Laws were challenged. Conversations were shifted. But it didn't start with a stage or a spotlight. It started with Tarana making a decision over and over again to turn her lived experience into collective change. That's resilience. That's purpose. That's what happens when you refuse to let your pain be the period at the end of your sentence. And here's where it gets even more important: healing and purpose can coexist. You can carry painful history and still build a meaningful life, lead boldly, and inspire others. You don't have to be all better to be useful. You don't have to have it all figured out to help somebody else. You just have to be honest about where you've been and willing to walk beside someone who's still there. Iyanla Vanzant built an entire career on this truth. She's a spiritual teacher, an author, a speaker, and someone who has been brutally honest about her own hardship, family disruption, abuse, emotional struggle, moments where she didn't know if she was going to make it through. She didn't hide it. She didn't sanitize it. She didn't pretend that faith erased the pain or that prayer made the trauma disappear overnight. She used faith, self examination, education, and coaching to move from survival into service. She studied, she healed, she stumbled, she got back up. She let people see her process, not just her progress. And now she's a trusted guide for people seeking healing, accountability, and emotional transformation. She normalized hard conversations about healing, especially for Black audiences who are often expected to perform strength while privately carrying unbearable weight. Iyanla didn't wait until she was perfect to start helping people. She started helping people while she was still healing. And that's the permission I want to give you today. You don't have to wait. You don't have to be flawless. You just have to be willing. Now, let me bring this back to what Deon Jones shared with me, because this is where it all comes together. Deon said, I want people to stop talking to themselves like their situation is permanent. And I felt that in my chest. Because how many of us are walking around narrating our own defeat? How many of us have convinced ourselves that this is just how it is? This is just who we are. This is just what we deserve. We've internalized the trauma. We've made it our identity. And we're so used to surviving that we forgot we're allowed to heal. Deon wants you to take one honest step toward healing, one brave step toward help, one practical step toward building the life you still deserve. Notice the word still. You still deserve it, not because you earned it, not because you proved yourself, but because you're here. And that's enough. So, what does that look like practically? It looks like admitting you're not okay. It looks like calling a therapist, even though you're scared of what you might uncover. It looks like setting a boundary with your mama, your pastor, your boss, your best friend, whoever keeps asking you to carry more than you can hold. It looks like saying no without guilt. It looks like resting without explanation. It looks like choosing yourself, not out of selfishness, but out of reverence. Because here's what we've been taught: we've been taught that softness is weakness, we've been taught that rest is laziness, we've been taught that saying no makes us difficult. We've been taught to wear the superwoman cape until it chokes us. And we're tired. We're so tired. But this soft girl era is the rebellion. This is the sacred pause. This is the deep exhale from the script that told us survival was the same thing as living. It's not. Survival is what you do when you have no choice. Living is what you do when you finally give yourself permission to be soft, to be whole, to be human. Deon Jones told me they want people to feel seen, strengthened, and deeply encouraged. During our conversation, I felt understood. After it, I felt hopeful, empowered, and ready to keep going. And that's what I want for you. I want you to feel seen right now. I want you to know that your pain is real, your survival is valid, and your healing is possible. I want you to feel strengthened, not because you have to keep carrying everything, but because you finally have permission to put some of it down. And I want you to feel encouraged, deeply encouraged to take that one step, the honest one, the brave one, the practical one. Your beginning does not define your ending. Resilience is a decision repeated over time. Healing and purpose can coexist. Those are the truths Deon Jones lives by. Those are the truths that Oprah, Tarana, and Iyanla have proven. And those are the truths that are available to you right now today. So here's what I'm asking you to do. Stop talking to yourself like your situation's permanent. Stop narrating your own defeat. Stop waiting for permission to heal. Take one honest step. Admit you're not okay. Take one brave step. Ask for help. Take one practical step. Set a boundary. Rest. Choose yourself. You are not defined by what happened to you. You are defined by what you do next. And what you do next can be soft, it can be slow, it can be sacred. It doesn't have to be loud or dramatic or perfect. It just has to be yours. I want to leave you with this. There is a version of you that has been waiting for you to stop running, waiting for you to stop performing, waiting for you to stop apologizing for taking up space. That version of you is soft. That version of you is rested. That version of you has boundaries that hold. That version of you laughs without guilt and says no without explanation. That version of you is not some distant dream. She's right here. She's been here the whole time and she's ready whenever you are. So take the step, make the call, set the boundary, rest without apology, heal without timeline, live without permission, because your story is not over. In the next chapter, that one is yours to write. And sis, it's going to be soft, sacred, and absolutely worth it.